Barbara Henry at the University of Virginia, and I want to thank everyone for joining us for our webinar on SOA effort reporting at the University of Virginia. I've been at the university for about 25 years working in HR and LD, so this is just part of the LD package that we're using. Presenting with me is Stephen Jackson.
Hello, my name is Stephen Jackson. I'm with EMS-Intelligent Chaos. We are a dedicated SOA solution shop. I've been here for almost 3 years, and I've been doing SOA work for the past about 12 years.
So here's the presentation agenda. We'll be going over a little bit about both of our organizations and then telling you about our project, which we're in the second step of. We'll go over that, as well as some information about our project, and then we'll end up with a demo. We will have stopping points along the way, so everyone is muted, but you can use the chat window to communicate with us, and so when I stop during those breaks, I'll go over whatever questions are out there, and then we'll move on. So the University of Virginia, we have about 17,000 employees with many multiple assignments. We are currently on 11.5.10 with Family Pack K Roll-Up 4. We are going live with Release 12 in May of next year. We have 2 different payrolls. Our biweekly payroll we run for our staff, students, and wage employees, and then for faculty we run a monthly payroll. Create our effort reports on 3 different cycles, and quarterly for our staff, semester-based for our non-medical faculty and our graduate assistants, and then semi-annual for our medical faculty. We are listed in the top 100 universities for receiving federal grants, and we acquire about $10 million of new research money a year, and our yearly funding for research exceeds $280 million.
EMS-Intelligent Chaos, we started the firm in 1998 focusing on PeopleSoft and e-business suite. We've got about 100 people now nationwide in consulting. Most of our focus has been around HCM, financials, grants, and supply chain, obviously this being grants. And then Intelligent Chaos side, which is where we focus on the Oracle tech products. We do identity management, all the SOA stack, enterprise content management, Oracle OBIEE, the BI suite, and master data management. And that's on the Intelligent Chaos side, and we are an Oracle certified partner for PeopleSoft and SOA. And we've won Oracle Excellence Awards in 2008 and 2009. Again, the Intelligent Chaos is the dedicated integration practice, so that's basically the technology stack within Oracle. We have over 5 years of implementing these SOA solutions. We definitely offer a methodology which we used on this project, bringing the business process and the technology together. The solutions that we use are reusable solutions, so that not only are they easy to build upon, but that they can move throughout your organization if they need to. And most of the work that we do from integration is through either PeopleSoft or eBusiness Suite. That tends to be one of the more difficult things to do, and that's basically what almost all of our projects, if not all of our projects, revolve around either eBusiness Suite or PeopleSoft. And again, we are an Oracle certified partner in the Fusion middleware.
So to tell you a little bit about our project, we've broken it out in 3 steps. The goal was to start small and work up in our difficulty or complexity of our effort report. Our first phase was March to July. That was basically getting our infrastructure in and getting us started. So pretty steep learning curve at the beginning. But we completed our non-clinical faculty effort reports the end of July. We are now in the middle of our step 2, which is our clinical effort report. So basically adding just a little bit more onto the original effort reports for the clinical side of our faculty. Then, as we discussed, we're going to take a break and do our R12 upgrade. And then after that upgrade, we'll go into our step 3, which is by far our most difficult step. That step will include effort reports for our graduate assistant staff and wage, and we call these effort reports our roll-up reports because we roll them up to our faculty. So the faculty actually approves the effort reports for those groups of employees. They don't approve their own. And of course, it's complicated by the fact that one of these folks, a graduate assistant staff or wage, can work for many different PIs. So the expectation is that we will roll up or send effort reports to many different faculty members for the same employee. So of course that complicates the whole situation where the faculty can only approve their portion of the effort report. So that's the reason it's step 3. We're also going to add a recertification portion of the effort report. So if by some unknown and unforeseen issue, they have to recertify because what they originally certified was not correct, it will allow them to request that capability, and that's then decided by our sponsored program office whether they really can recertify or not. And lastly, we will be refreshing the effort report data due to labor distribution adjustments, and those are labor distribution adjustments after the effort reports have already been created. So they will be a change to the data as we go forward. So a little bit about our team. We have 4 developers. We have an EBS developer, a BOPL, a UI, and an OSB developer, a DBA, technical analyst, functional analyst, and then we have several people from the Office of Sponsored Programs. And that has been very beneficial for moving the project along. We regularly meet to make sure that everybody stays in touch with where we are and where we're going, and it has turned out to be a really good match for us. So just to let you know what we currently do with the effort report process, as many of you know, there's an Oracle effort report generation process, and we are using that process to generate the effort reports. We use people group, project type, and then we use a series of fast formulas to include and exclude employees. We do have 6 different templates that we generate effort reports from, and each template runs 20 to 30 minutes, and then the effort report's generated for the employee. We then take that information and move it into a custom table because we also joined with that generated information our cost share funds and clinical foundation dollars. So the combination of the Oracle generated data and these 2 other files, then we generate a paper effort report which we deliver to the faculty. So we have all the ramifications of shuffling paper and passing paper among a central office out to the departments and eventually to the faculty and then back again.
No. So they still have the paper process? Yeah.
So a little bit about the effort report roles that we've created for SOA, our online system. We have an effort report coordinator. We use the acronym of the ERC, and essentially they're the folks who receive the effort reports, the paper effort reports today in the field. In the future, they will be receiving the effort reports for a review period before the faculty see them. They're also the people who answer the faculty's questions. So if they have a question regarding their effort report, they usually go to their effort report coordinator. They're also the first person to be contacted by the Office of Sponsored Programs, or OSP. So if OSP has a question about something the faculty has certified, they go to the effort report coordinator. And we have a primary and 2 alternates. So if the primary is on vacation or out, there are always 2 alternates to choose from. Then our next role is the individual certifier. Many of you call this person the PI, and in most cases that's what they are, or they might be a faculty who are working on other people's grants. So they're the ones who certify the effort for themselves, and then in step 3 they'll also be certifying the effort for staff and students. The designee is someone, either the head of a department or an associate dean of a department, who can certify for unavailable faculty. So for instance, if a faculty is on leave for whatever reason or has left the university, this person could certify for them. And then of course we have the system administrator, which is members of the OSP, who will monitor and control the whole effort report process. A little bit about the statuses. Our effort report process is all about who can see what data and for how long. So the status that an effort report is then directly derives that information. So the pre-distributed, only the system administrator is going to be able to look at the effort reports and that status. And this gives the administrator a chance to review the effort report and make sure that the effort report generation is what they were expecting and they're good effort reports. And then they can release to the effort report coordinators. Now they can release en masse, or if there's for some reason, some effort reports they don't think should be sent out, they can retain those. They don't have to release those.
Our e-business suite or Oracle.
And the pre-review status is once they release the effort report to the effort report coordinators, it goes into a pre-review status. This pre-review status lasts for 15 days. And the only ones who can see under the pre-review status is the effort report coordinators and the system administrators. So the faculty won't be able to see the effort report at this point in time. And they can, the actions they can take is they can add. So if they look at the effort report and realize that there's a project and award that the faculty actually worked on and somehow it wasn't paid and it was missed, they can add those missing projects and awards onto the effort report. And they can forward on to the certifier or the designee at any time. They can also reassign to another ERC. So for instance, we have some departmental people who maybe they don't usually handle the effort reports for that individual faculty. They can say, oh, this belongs to Jane Doe in Department X, I will reassign to her. And so Jane will then be able to see the effort report reassigned to her. We also, as part of forwarding to an individual certifier or designee, allow them to reassign to someone other than that person who's receiving the effort report. So, for instance, if a person has left the university and they have a co-PI, we will allow them to reassign to the co-PI to allow them to certify in place of the IC. So there's plenty of flexibility to allow them to determine the best place for the effort report to go. We also had the issue where in some of our departments, our research assistants don't approve their own effort report. A faculty member approves for them, while in other departments, the research assistants do certify. So in those cases where they don't certify for themselves, they can reassign or forward to the PI to certify in place of the research assistant. So lots of flexibility. Another thing to point out, they have 15 days. If they choose to only use 5 of the 15 days, the remaining 10 are given to the person who's certifying. And that was a big issue for us, that the period of certification is 45 days. How the ERCs and the ICs choose to use that time should be flexible and allow them to use it in any way they want. If they don't forward on within the 15 days, it will automatically time out and forward it on for them. The next stage is the uncertified stage, and this is for the folks who are actually certifying. It is a 30-day period, so the days 16 through 45 are the period that they can certify, unless they've been given additional days by the ERC when they didn't use all of their 15. They will receive an email reminder on the 35th day to say, oh, by the way, remember you have 10 more days to certify. So we are sending reminders along the way to let them know that it's time to certify. And the other big piece for us is we wanted many different individuals to be able to see the effort report at one time. And you can see the ERCs, the ICs, the designees, and the system administrator can all see the effort report. And they can pull up the same effort report and talk about it before the ICs actually certify it. So there's plenty of flexibility there. They can also add projects and awards if they want, either the ERC or the individual certifier. They can still reassign to another ERC, and they can certify. The next stage, which is a very bad place to be, is after day 45, it moves into a delinquent status. And when it moves to delinquent, pretty much everybody in the system gets a notification. So the ERCs, the ICs, the designees, everyone is notified that it is in a delinquent status. And there's a pretty strong password email that's being sent out to everyone to say, you are delinquent, and this could lead to your grant funds being removed to a departmental account because you have not met the requirements of effort report certification. So we're hoping that will move everyone to actually certify. The designees email actually asks for their assistance to get the ICs to actually certify. So it's asking for their help more than asking them to certify. And then the actions are still the same. Even though it's in a delinquent status, they can certainly still certify, and we want them to. Post-certification, this is after, of course, they've certified, and if the certified effort is not equal to the calculated effort, it goes into the status. To let you know, our calculated status is a combination of our payroll dollars our cost share, and our salary cap. So the combination of those three, or the addition of those three, equals our calculated effort. And if the certified effort doesn't equal the calculated effort, then it goes into post-certification for the ERCs to verify that A, there might be an adjustment that needs to be completed, or B, yes, it's okay. They didn't work as much cost share as they were scheduled, and it's fine, everything can move on. The action the ERCs can take is they can move it to archive, or if all else fails, when we get to step 3, they can ask for a recertification. Oh, I certified by accident, I guess is that situation, and I need to get it back to recertify again, or to certify again. And after post-certification, it can move into either archive, everything's okay, or it can move under system administration view. And basically, it goes to a system administrator if the certified effort is less than the calculated. So they are saying, yes, even though you paid me 40%, I really only worked 35%. And of course, that would warrant an adjustment. And all the different roles can see those effort reports, and from there the system administrator can move it to archive, or another recertification room can be placed.
Take back money that they pay.
Yeah, it's weird.
So the last status is archive. Certainly if the information that they certified is equal to the calculated, then it immediately goes to archive. There's no stopping at the other two statuses. It moves directly on.
You're right.
And yeah, and there's only one action that can be requested, and that is for a recertification. Again, that's on step 3. Okay. So that's a lot of information. Let me go one more step and we'll stop for questions. So if you have some questions you want to ask, be sure to enter it in the chat window, and we'll cover those when I'm finished with this slide. So our setup, basically, we really didn't have that many changes to our e-business suite setup. We created some DFFs on the organizations for the effort report coordinators, so our primary and 2 alternates, and the designee. We toyed with the idea of creating roles in grants instead of creating the DFF, but no one wanted to do all of the extra maintenance, so that idea was nixed. We also created views of the data for the SOA services, and we built a custom process to create SOA tables, so it's more online-like than the tables that we had before, which were paper-driven. So, wanted to take a little break here in case anyone had a question that they want to ask based on the information so far.
Oh. I don't know. Some promise to go online. This will
Okay, we'll move ahead.
So now, based on those requirements, what we did was we came in and we defined and refined a lot of these requirements to basically have a good understanding of all the transactions that needed to happen, all the workflows that needed to be created, all of the information, because remember, we're going from delivering paper over to everything being online. So all the users are online. How do they interact? How can we move things along? What do we need to do? And out of that came basically what we're using here is we're using SOA Suite 11G, the latest version. We've ended up with 3 Beeple workflows. We've got certification workflow, we've got the status manager, and then we've got the status process manager. Later on, we may be adding some human workflow interaction into these, which is why we chose Beeple for these specific areas. The OSB, or the Oracle Service Bus, is the main driver of this. It is the workhorse of the entire infrastructure. We have a total of 46 virtualized services, which I don't know the ratios for reads and writes, but all of the transactions go through the OSB, and then the OSB decides ultimately what happens. So the interaction of the data, is it going to call Beeple, whatever it's going to do. It's a very flexible tool. Basically, every call from the front end is going to interact with the Oracle Service Bus. We created a component-based design so that as we expand things, a lot of the component-based from the OSB services are reused. So what happens is that if we have to make a change, typically we only make the change in one location, and which is one of the base component services. We're not making changes all over the place. So it works out quite well. A lot of reusability here, only from the employee data. So we started in a lot of these areas and created a lot of reusable services, not only for potentially using it here, but potentially using it in other locations throughout the university. Basically the big thing was integrating this into the existing security infrastructure. There was an existing, UVA has a security there, so we worked together with the security team, making sure that all of the services and everything was secured, that you weren't getting, obviously anybody can just access this thing, and then also the views that are presented to you are based on what you can and can't see. So we have sort of an authorization and an authentication security mode. Everything's integrated. It is open to the internet, so anybody can log on, but you got to have, obviously, they use a certificate-based authentication to get in. So as long as you have the certificate credentials to get in, then you're fine. The user interface, we used Adobe Flex. This is a very rich internet application architecture, meaning that it's almost client-like, very real-time, very visually appealing, and it's event-based. It's very interactive. You can do lots of edit checks and drag and drop and all kinds of neat stuff, and it's a very quick and rapid development tool. And again, all of the services from the user interface are communicating to EBS through the Oracle Service Bus. Are there any questions on that? I know that was kind of a mouthful. So
okay, so with no questions, we'll move on because I know everyone wants to see the demo. So here are the requirements that led us to SOA. We wanted a web look and feel. Our faculty really do not like OA framework. They don't consider it friendly. So the idea was to keep it simple and intuitive, where some of the OA framework symbols aren't obvious and some of the searches are not intuitive. We feel that the SOA solution is. The other goal was as few clicks as possible to get to the effort report. That was a really important issue. And to dynamically access the data that is available. So we didn't want to have predetermined responsibilities that we assign to people. We wanted the data to appear to the person based on what functionality they could perform. The other item was the ability to format the details based on the type of employee. So we have 3 different report format, so each employee will see the format that belongs to them, and that's determined at the time of sign-on. We also, and I discussed this earlier, a huge requirement is to allow multiple roles to see the same data at the same time and be able to update the data at the same time. So any one of the roles that are able to access the data based on the statuses in can update it. The other big requirement was the ability to roll over the fields and see tooltips. So we allow the user to see additional data by rolling over certain fields, like for our project name, we show them the project sponsor and the project begin and end date. When they roll over the percentage, the payroll percentage, they see the dollars associated with it as well as the days worked. And that was really important if someone only worked a couple of days during the period and it shows they worked 100%. Our faculty get very confused when they see 100% because then they know the person only worked for a month out of the period. So that will help them in that way. And the ability to send one notification while routing multiple effort reports. So the effort report coordinators could have 100 faculty that they're a coordinator for, and they didn't want to receive 100 emails. They wanted to receive one email, and we wanted all the coordinators, so the primary and all the alternates, to get the notification at the same time and the same notification. We wanted the ability to add time. So again, that was a big piece. If the effort report coordinator is very quick and passes the effort report on within 5 days, then the IC or designee now has 40 days to certify instead of the 30 days. So the idea is to use the 45 days as efficiently as possible. And the ability to see current and archive data through all stages. And another big one is to be able to run ad hoc queries. So you will see we have many different filters, and they would like to use a combination of those filters and be able to get the information back that they can act on. So lessons learned. The big thing to know is it is a lot of new terms and processes. So it's very different. Expect to be confused. Stephen's gotten to the point that he can read my confused look, so he knows he needs to go into more detail when I'm looking very confused. Also expect fear and uncertainty with the technical staff. It is very, very new to them, a lot of changes, and there was quite a bit of fear and uncertainty with our staff. Realize there's going to be a very close alignment between the EDS and the UI developers. They will be in constant contact. So it's good to keep them close if at all possible. If not, have regular meetings with them because they will be working together. I suggest don't attempt this alone. It really is a lot to learn. It is very different. And no matter how efficient and smart you believe you are, it is a lot to pick up alone. So I would suggest having a consulting firm working with you. Also, know your requirements before you go in. That really moves the project along. I can't say that we 100% knew our requirements, because certainly we've had to make decisions along the way. But we knew our basic requirements, and that really gave us a good start. Never stop testing and involve users along the way in your testing. We've had a whole series of testing sessions with our staff and faculty and gotten very good feedback from them, which has been good for us. And we regularly communicate with our users, so they know it's coming. They know how well we're progressing, and they feel like they're a part of the project. So now we're ready for the demo. Is there any questions?
We can see we go back.
For the demo?
Yeah.
There are members that are on that don't have a muted phone that we're hearing.
No. We don't even have microphones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will go into the demo. So, here's our look for our effort report system for an effort report coordinator. For our testing, created a little back door to allow us to switch our user. Stephen created that for us so that we could easily move among all the different roles and make sure that we were testing everything. Of course, that will not go into production. In production, we will have a secure sign-on that will direct us to what information you can see. So our individual, Lois Rousey, is an effort report coordinator. So she's been identified on an organization as the effort report coordinator. She will only see the information for her organization. And kind of to give you some ideas about for instance, if I click on an organization, in her case, she only sees one organization. She only has one designee, so that's the only information she will see. She has 2 periods that she can work with, and she has one other alternate ERC that she can that can work in place of her. So as you can see, the information is restricted based on who you are. I have chosen the pre-review status. So as you'll see as an ERC, I cannot see pre-distributed. That's not available to me because that's only available to the system administrator. So I've chosen pre-review and click search, and it has brought back all the folks that I have to review for under the pre-review status. So, well, before I do that, you'll notice when I click pre-review, I get some buttons highlighted. So those actions can be performed based on the status I'm in. If I click that off, then it doesn't know what action I'm taking, so therefore it doesn't highlight it. This button, Reviews Move to Archive, is only available under post-certification. So if I was under that, then that button would be available. So it's very interactive. It knows where I am and what I need to do. I can also, if I choose someone, you can see I can reassign. So here's the reassign to another ERC or to alternate. So here's where I can send the report off to someone else because I've finished with it. I'm not the right ERC, or someone else is going to take care of it for me. So I'll go into our actual details of our effort report. I picked this person particularly for the large name, the long name. That's a really good feature of Flex. It sizes based on the length of the field. And so in this case, as you can see, this person has a very long name, and it displays that in its entirety. We do have a printable version, so I can click on printable version, and it will open a PDF to show me my effort report. So if I wanted to print this off and go talk to someone about it, that's acceptable. I'll show you the add project and awards, so I can key in either, as you can see, the award, the project, or both. And it will return back to me the awards associated with that. I can select one and add that to the effort report. And I've identified that effort report has been added on by italic. So we wanted a way to let them know I have added on this effort report or this project award onto my effort report. Now you'll notice I can't put anything in the percentage because I'm an effort report coordinator, not the IC. So they can add the project award, but they can't add a percentage. I wanted to show you the rollover. So for instance, let me get a good, it indicates the start and end date of the project and the sponsor's name, as well as the rollover for the payroll dollars and the days paid. This was a huge win with our users when we got lots of oohs and ahs over that case. After they've added a project and award, they can decide, I really didn't mean to do that. I can drag it over to the trash can and dump it. If I can hold on to it. So I can remove it before it's saved. Once it's saved, it's considered part of the effort report, and they can't remove it. But certainly I can make mistakes by adding the wrong project and award and remove it. I can save along the way, so if I'm not ready to move on, I can save as an ERC as well as an IC, and if I'm IC, I can ask for assistance. So I can be working on my effort report and go, oh my, I need to ask the ERC a question. This will launch them into email, and they can send the email forward. So I will save what I've done here, and now that I've looked at it, I can send it on to the individual certifier for them to review. And as you can see, my number's now gone down to 20, so I can start the search again. I can also click search and do them all at once if I wanted to, or I can be selective. So I'll pull up the two other ones and show you what that looks like. So I can page between the effort reports. So I can compare effort reports if I want, but I can move among them as many as I choose to pull up. So I don't have to pull up the effort reports one at a time. And let's say I'm fine with them and I want to send them on. I can move those. So I can move as many as I want forward. And let's see, I wanted to show you one more effort report just because it's different. You'll see that the size of the different sections, it automatically sizes based on the number of projects and awards is paid. So if I had 10 of these, I would have a window size to show me 10. Couple things I did want to point out to you is for our sponsored activities, we show complete percentages. So each line gets their own percentage to certify. Our other activities, so our non-sponsored funds, we only certify a subtotal. So we don't go to individual lines for our non-sponsored. This is an example of a non-medical effort report that we send out, or non-clinical effort report that we send out. Once we've verified or certified effort reports for a period, then you can, the following period, look at your prior effort report. So maybe you're have a certain amount of cost share that you're managing. You can continue to monitor what you did in the prior period against what you're doing in this period. So it allows you to do that. And I can send that one on to the designee.
I did want to
So
note.
I've now shipped off quite a few effort reports. Before I move on, are there any questions about the ERC and the activities that you can play as an ERC?
And I did want to point out as well is every time an action or a transaction happens, we have an auditing, everything is audited. So if anybody ever comes back and says, hey, what happened or what was the life cycle, we can pull it up. And actually we're in the process of adding that to the system administrator so they can come in, they can view a report, and they can bring up all the auditing details so they can see who changed who to when and where and who when did they send it on? So every time the report changes state or somebody enforces a state change on it, it's recorded, and so that we have full auditing on everything.
Okay, there's a couple of other things I did want to show you. One is the query report. So I can go into a query mode and I can choose multiple statuses and search on that. I can choose multiple people, I can choose multiple periods, or I can decide only to show a certain amount of the data. So it's this allows you the flexibility. So, for instance, if I wanted to go out and find all the effort reports for Judith White, for instance, I could look at all the statuses, find Judith White, and see where she is on all of her effort reports. And then I know what action I can take. So in this case, she has one in archived and one in uncertified. So the one we just moved to her in the uncertified status. So this is a query-only mode. You can't certify effort reports. You can certainly look at them, but you can't certify in this mode. But this allows them to look at the data at any time. You'll also see the minimize, maximize. You can keep two side by side. I prefer to have a full screen when I'm working, but certainly you can work it anyway. The other thing I wanted to point out is the ability to sort on any of the columns. We chose to sort by our individual certifier in alpha order, but certainly you could sort by, trying to think what would be different, you could by employee name and IC are the same. So you could sort by anything. You can also pick up the columns and move them around. So there's that flexibility to be able to switch information around if it's not in the exact order that you're interested in. So there's plenty of flexibility. So before I move on, any questions? Okay. First question is, what are the scenarios under which a PI would add an award to the certification? Basically, if they've worked on a project or award that they haven't been paid from it. So they're working with another PI. They're really not taking any money from the project, but they want to show that they actually did work on the project. Then they could add that and show that they spent time on that project. Now, in most cases, that money would come from non-sponsored funds, so they would show, let's say, 5% on the project award added, and then reduce their non-sponsored funds by the 5%. Because, of course, they can only be at 100% certification. Any other questions? Okay, so no other questions. We'll move, I'm just going to move over to the look to one of the people that I forwarded on. Again, this is just allowed for testing, but we'll move over to the first person that we move forward. And you'll see as an individual certifier, my filters are much smaller because we've tailored that to what they would want to search on. The employee filter is basically, for now, the employee is themselves, but when we have the roll-up reports for staff and students, they could then select on employee and certainly filter in that way. So I'm going to just go in and show you the ability to certify. So I am this individual, and I'm going to go ahead and certify. Well, let's not certify. Let's do 80%, and then of course that leaves 20 here. So you'll notice because the amount is certified amount is different from calculated, we're showing that in red, just so that we can say, oh, by the way, did you notice you certified something different than the calculated? It doesn't stop them. They can certainly move on without any action on their part, but it's just a warning. We have a series of check boxes that we ask everyone to mark that they realize what they are doing with their effort report, and they are certifying the best of their abilities. Let's change this back to 0, so I'm only certified 80. And when I click on the certify button, it's going to tell me what I have to do in order to move forward. Originally, we were just saying, oops, you hadn't completed everything, but that was the feedback we received from the faculty to say, you know, it would really help me if you told me what you wanted me to do, because I'll go do whatever you tell me. You just need to tell me. So that was a valuable feedback that we received from faculty. So once you click these buttons and you've filled out everything to 100%, you can certify your effort report. And one of the glitzy items we put on was an actual big certified stamp, which was actually pretty popular with our faculty. They like to know that it was finished. So that was something we added for them. Any questions about faculty certification? I can also show you quickly the designee. So the designee for all of these people, this individual or any designee can see all the effort reports that they're a designee for. So I can, in my case, I am also an individual certifier, and I'm a designee. So I could switch over to my designee tab. And again, this is the flexibility that allows you to have multiple roles. I can go under uncertified and see all the items that are uncertified. Now, these effort reports might not have been sent to me. They could have just be effort reports that are in an uncertified status, but I, as the designee, at any time can go out and see who hasn't certified their effort reports yet. I can see what the certification deadline is, so I know who's coming up and who, I can sort that in the order if I have multiple types of reports, so I can monitor that piece at all times. So that's the designee role and the information they can see. Does anyone have any questions about the designee or any of the other roles? So we have just a couple more minutes, and I was going to show you kind of work in progress for our clinical effort reports so you can see what they look like. I'm a system administrator, so I can see pretty much everything. And I'm going to filter on, and again, you can just like in EBS, you can start keying, and that will quickly get you to the alphabet where you want to be. I was going to give you a sneak peek preview of the clinical effort report. So here's a clinical a faculty member. You'll see in this case we forced this award on this faculty. He chose not to receive any payroll dollars, but he is the PI. So if you are the PI on an effort, on a project and award, even if you choose not to be paid from the project and award, we force you to tell us that maybe you didn't put any effort against the project, but that seems a little unlikely if you're the PI. So we want you to confirm that what effort you have actually performed against that period. So we have sections 1 and 2. We are breaking out for the clinical industry-sponsored clinical trials because that's a different section for them. Same other university activities. We now have a new section 3, which is for the clinical piece. So this is essentially where our foundation monies go into this area, so that's related to the clinical piece. And then the Medicare portion, the time allotment against all the different activities. And then we have them enter service codes. So where did they work? What clinic did they work in? So to support all of these different activities. So, and we have them fill out the average number of hours they work in a week. Now, again, I'm not the certifier, so I can't enter the average hours, but I, as an ERC or a system administrator, can add the service codes for the faculty so that the data is prepped for them when they come in. The other feature we're providing is we're carrying the service codes forward for them. We figure if you're a physician in the allergy clinic, you most likely will always be a physician in the allergy clinic, so we will carry those service codes forward. We won't carry the percentage time you spent in that clinic forward for you, but we will carry the fact that you worked in the clinic. So that's a sneak peek into our clinical effort report. Is there any questions about anything you've seen? Okay, no questions. So I want to thank everyone for your participation. Certainly, if you want to send Stephen or I an email about anything you saw here, our information is on the last slide, and feel free to send us any questions, or if you want clarification. We'll be glad to share it with you. I know I sent the slides forward to Michelle, and I'll also provide them to Sherry to be sent out to anyone interested. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Yep, thank you very much.